today we're going to be making happy pills or chill pills or whatever kind of pills that you want to make. These I made through crochet. I am really happy with them. One has a set of safety eyes. If you're going to use this as a stress toy, I think that's great and totally fine. But if you're going to be tossing it around at people who need a chill pill or something like that, I suggest embroidering the eyes like this. So all you'll need is your pill colors. I like the split color because I find that it just looks more like a pill rather than just a shape that is, you know, this shape, but all one color. Even though I have pills that are all one color, it just doesn't give like the same vibe, I don't think. So what you're gonna need is 1 or 2 colors, or however many colors you want to make your pill, and you're gonna need your materials for the face, whatever that may be. So today I'm gonna be using this teal that's really gorgeous. I do have a pill that is white and teal, so this is appropriate. Oh my gosh, my white yarn is stuck. Okay, and then I'm going to use white yarn for this, and black details for the face. Okay, so we're going to start with our darkest color, and we're going to basically make 2 lengths of the pill. So I'm going to go back to my starting point. This is just a trial and error process to see our counts. So I'm going to want to leave a longer tail for sewing, maybe about 8 inches. And then I'm going to cast on, make sure you're in tubular mode. Now this is a 22 pin. If you have you can use a 22 or 24 pin. If you have a larger machine, you can make a panel and sew it together, or you could just make a really big pill. You will have to adjust the counts appropriately so you get the same kind of proportions, but so I'm just going to go around. That first time around, you want to be really careful. Go a little bit slower than you normally would. On the Addy, the yarn tends to split a lot on this first pass around, so I like to keep a needle handy, just so if the yarn starts to split before it splits too bad, I can just go ahead and make sure it's not splitting open. Otherwise you can get a really crunchy ride here. So you gotta kind of pull it over the over this little red part right here, which you might not be able to see very well on the camera, but that'll keep the yarn from splitting. For some reason the Addy just does this. The Centro didn't, but my Centro also didn't really work that well, so it would be fine with this part, but not so much on the rest of it. So it's just going to be very clicky when you go through. Try not to power through. You want to be easy on your machine if you can help it, but sometimes you can't help it, so just do your best. These are expensive to replace. It's easier to just do it right the first time. So I'm just going in. Anywhere I see that the left side is not popped over that little red bit, I will go in and manually do it. From there, you usually have an easier time. Okay, well, yarn wants to be on the ground if you're going to be stubborn. Okay, so this part is about 3.5 inches, so that's what we're going to go for. Now you could, if you really wanted to, you could do a jogless join when you change the colors, but for me, I don't really care that much. So once you have 25 rows of your of one of your colors, you're going to switch over. So I'm going to leave about maybe like a 5-inch tail, just long enough to cut the or to be able to tie it to the other color. Later you look up how to do a jogless join on the knitting machine. You can do that here, but for me, I don't generally have a preference. So if it's an item that I don't care if you can see the join in, I will just keep it like this. So now I'm going to switch over to the white. I'm going to make sure I feed it enough that I can tie it with. It doesn't need to be super long. And then I'm going to do another, I'm actually going to do 50 rows of this next one. So that'll bring us from 25 to 75 on our counter. And you want to make sure all of that other color is pulled tight, and then you can hold it with your white until you get enough stitches that it is secure. Usually once I get about a third of the way around, I'll go in and tie those colors together. And then you can snip off any excess. And then you just keep going. So once you've done your 50 rows of white, your counter should be up to 75 if you didn't change it. If you just did 50, then it should be up to 50. So we did 50 rows of white, and we're going to finish off with 25 rows of our opposite color. So we're going to cut enough to be able to tie it off, pull it out, get our other color. In there, make sure everything goes under the pegs and all of that, and then gotta put this in here, and then we're going to go around a little bit. We're gonna tie those two together. I like to tie them pretty soon after I do the color change, otherwise we could potentially see some drop stitches, and we're not planning on doing any drop stitches this time, so I'm just tying that there, making sure that's tucked under the little peg, and then giving a little snip. And all of this is going to be on the inside, so you won't be able to see it. So once you get to 100 stitches or 25 of your alternating color, you're going to want to cut a tail that's long enough to be able to sew in all your ends, and then weave everything. So I like to do about 8 inches, and then I'll take it out of the guide, close the guide, because for some reason mentally that makes a difference to me. And then you want to go around, make sure it's under that tab. You're going to go around one full time without anything in your yarn feeder. And then we're going to put this in a needle. Where did I put my yarn needle? There it is. We're going to go in with our needle, and then we're going to start picking up all of the stitches. Making sure we're just getting that top stitch that's in the machine, not getting all of the stitches, you know, leading up to it. If you don't pick up the right stitch, it might come apart on you, which is never what we want. I have to rotate a little bit just for whatever position's comfortable for my hand. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to take that off of our machine, and we're going to get to work on the rest of it. So I'm going to take the final end that I did, and I should still have my needle attached to it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cinching it up, making sure that the ends don't curl outwards. If anything, they curl inwards. And just kind of taking your time, kind of being precise with that. I lovingly call this the booty hole closure because it looks like a butt, kind of. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your needle and you're going to go inside of your tube. Now you want to make sure you don't poke through the side of it, and then you want to, let me take off my engagement ring. You're going to take off your pokey rings, because you can see that the knitting machine just by itself leaves quite a few holes, and so when we stuff that, especially the darker end, you would be able to see the polyfill. So I decided to double layer this. So you're going to put your needle in the top, and you're just going to pull that needle and the yarn through, and you're going to fold it in half. So you're going to just kind of let this go into here. So with this double layering, it's going to look a lot cleaner and neater, and you're going to be able to the polyfill won't show through as much. So now that I've pulled the bottom through, I'm going to go ahead and take my needle off, and then I'm going to cinch the other end, again making sure that the stitches haven't turned around. And then you're going to tie the two ends tightly a couple times so that it won't come undone. This is going to be on the inside of our project, so you don't have to worry about it looking nice. You just want it to be nice and secure. Then you're going to take your hand, you're going to go inside, grab the end, and pull through once more. So now this is what's going to be the outside of the pill. Now you can see where the join is, and you're going to want that to be on the back. So for me, this is where that join is. I'm going to push the shorter yarn just in there. You can cut it, do whatever. But me, I'm just going to put it in there. Now, I am noticing some stretch differences between the yarn, so I'm going to make sure I accommodate for the tighter yarn, so that it's not like really stretchy here and not very stretchy here, if that makes sense. So I found where my join was, and then that's going to be the back for me. And I'm going to start working on the face. Now for me, I'm just going to use black yarn. You can embroider, like you can use however you want to make the face. You're totally welcome to. I know you needed my permission for that, so you're welcome. But whatever suits you right. For me, I just like the happy face on it. I find that it just makes me, it just looks good. So I was like, why is this happening? It's because I have the wrong end of the yarn. So let me find here. And then I'm going to work in the center of the space and just freehand this. I don't think I could instruct how to do this even if I wanted to. So don't expect that from me. So I'm going to go ahead with the white string before I stuff it. Sorry, I misspoke. And I'm going to thread the yarn, and I'm going to start in the back. And I'm just going to start picking up every other, I'm picking up every stitch, but I'm only picking up half a stitch. This reduces the bulk of the cinch when you do it. So you can pick pick up both sides of the stitch, whatever you're more comfortable with. This is your project, have fun with it. So before I start cinching it, I'm going to stuff it. So I just put that around the edge, and then I'm going to start packing the polyfill in it. I'm going to separate it a little bit to help kind of decompress, so it's not chunky in there, it's nice and smooth. We're gonna make sure we go all the way down. Stuff that end really well so you get, and try to kind of flatten it with your hand so you get that pill shape rather than like a different shape. So that's stretching out nicely, and you can see you can't see any of the polyfill in there. That's due to that double layer, which I really like. So for me, this looks like it's maybe like a 5 handful polyfill kind of amount. Try to measure in handfuls because I don't know how else to tell you. This is number 4. Maybe like 4.5. No, just that other half. Yeah, 5 handfuls is exactly what we needed, because you gotta make sure that that end looks good. So I'm gonna take my yarn end, and I'm going to start tightening around the edge, start cinching it. Make sure you don't pull your yarn all the way out. Okay, and then I like to put a knot or 2 in it just to make sure it's nice and secure. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to suss yarn, and I'm going to sew in the ends. So I smush it kind of like that. We start to get that flattened base, and it looks so cute. The face is a little further right than I expected, so just something to keep in mind when you're making it, that the cinching kind of pulls everything over. But I still think it's really cute, and it does look, you can't see quite how teal this is. It looks more like dark blue, but this is like the exact color of my mood stabilizer. So I'm very happy. It's nice and soft, so I can, you know, I wasn't to throw it at people, but like literally, like, boom, I'm gonna throw it out. I'm not gonna throw it at Mel. And then I'm just gonna start going around, weaving in the ends so that we can kind of have it be nice and concealed and make sure it's secure. Now you can customize this if there's like a black band or something. Like if the pill looks different, you can make it different. You know, some people might find a lot of like quirky, fun quality from like having a pill that looks exactly like a pill they take. Some people don't want that. So like I felt like this was a good happy pill color because the yellow was nice and it still stood out against the white. That's something you really want to make sure is, unless you're replicating like a real pill that doesn't look like that, is making sure that you have nice contrast between the two sides, because that's what kind of makes it. So now that I have my end to my pill, with these sewn in, I'm gonna pull slightly before cutting, just so that the end of the yarn just kind of gets hidden in everything else. And this is the happy pill that we made. You can put whatever details on it that you want. You could even put, like, you could write out the name of the pill if you wanted to, anything like that. But I just think it's a super fun little project, and I'm super happy with it, and it was very easy. First time worked. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you later.